Hi there, and thank you for coming to my YouTube channel today. Well, today I'm going to talk about a subject that if you're not in bankruptcy, maybe you can avoid bankruptcy altogether, but it's still important to focus on the issue of what you're going to do when you're facing a lawsuit. So I'm actually going to go over what not to do and what to do, because honestly, they're both just as important, and inaction causes an action you don't want. So let's start off with the basics. When a lawsuit happens, your service a process, right? And what that means is you are served with the documents. Literally, they come to your house, hopefully not their job. And usually it's a sheriff's office, so don't get freaked out. You're not there to get arrested. Sometimes it could be a private process server. Most private lawyers use a private process server. It costs a little bit more, but more effective than the sheriff's office. Typically, my experience is the sheriff's office knocks once or twice, they leave and they're done. A private process server, especially one that wants your business, is going to go a little bit out of your way. But that's how the process begins. Now, when that happens, you have to file a response. The question is when? My answer is now. Reality is you have time, right? You have 20, 30 days, just depending on the state. I think one state goes up to like 45 days, which just seems like a lot. But you have to file a response. Simply sending a letter, dear judge, is not going to work. The other side will probably file dismissal to get that out of the way and then move for a default. We're going to talk about a default in a second. Or the judge just might ignore it and say, this isn't a valid answer, and just move for a default themselves. So you never know. So the answer is you have to file an answer or a response. Now, where do you get those forms? Typically, the clerk's office in your county will have those forms. I get clients all the time. So I just go down to the courthouse. Yes, if it was 1978, yes, go down to the courthouse. Go down there in your wood panel, side wood paneling station wagon. No, it's 2024. Go online. They probably have those documents there. The clerk's office doesn't want you just showing up there all the time, especially when this stuff is accessible online. Going downtown means fighting traffic. It means dealing with people cutting you off. It means paying for parking. Don't do that. Go online first. All right. And typically, a lot of these county clerks now have programs where they are even able to assist you with the forms. Sometimes, depending on the county, it could be lawyers that do it for free, and usually they get credit hours with their state bar, or it just might be maybe non-lawyers, so they can't give you advice one way or another unless it's a lawyer. But at least they're able to get you moving and in the right direction with that lawsuit and what you have to do. Now, here's the part that's important: doing nothing. When you do nothing, you're not going to win. Whatever that petition says, they're going to get, because you had a chance to file a response and you failed to do so. So if the petition could say something crazy, like Alex has to buy me a Ferrari and I don't respond to it, I have to now buy a Ferrari. Get it? I'm not lying. It is that simple. Now, there's a bunch of legal steps you can take and etc. I can even file for bankruptcy, but the answer is just file an answer. It's not that complicated to do. Typically, you're just denying certain things, and so that's all you need that needs to get done in that regard. Now, when you don't do anything and you just sit back and by the way, ignoring stuff doesn't fix the problem. And I mean that sincerely. I'm going to talk about when I bought my first house, the issues that I had. But, the original blog post, which I'll post down below, says, as an example, or ask the rhetorical question: when the gas light is on in your car in a dash and it's yellow, do you keep ignoring it? You could, but you're going to have to start walking home at some point. So you stop, you get gas. This is the same thing. Don't ignore the signs. You've been served. Take some action. All right. Now, if you do nothing, they're going to win the lawsuit because you did nothing. You didn't file a response. Now comes the part where they need to collect. So I always say lawsuits are divided into two parts: filing the lawsuit and winning, and then collecting on the judgment. The collecting a judgment is the most important part. Who cares? Anybody can win these lawsuits. The problem is, can they collect on the lawsuit? So how are they going to collect on the lawsuit? Well, you see here, garnishing your wages. Depends where you live. Could be anywhere from 15 to 25% of your wages. Florida's 25%. So for every $100, they're taking $25 out. You don't want to be in that position. All right, if you're going to file for bankruptcy, then you file for bankruptcy to prevent the wage garnishment, but doing nothing is going to result in this. One of their favorites is they just go straight after your bank accounts. How do they know which bank account you have? Because you've been sending them payments to that bank account. So when you just got paid today and you've got a couple of grand sitting in your bank account and they come in and put that levy on Friday, because they're not going to do it on Wednesday, they're going to do it the day that you get paid. Guess what? You got to pay the rent on Monday. Too bad, so sad, as one of my law professors used to say. So the answer is, if you're going to start getting one quick and easy way, is just get another bank account and divert your direct deposits into that account. They won't have that account. And it's even better if you do it at another bank. That way they definitely can't figure out where you are at. But again, you can't ignore it because they could put a levy in your account. Now, this is what happened when I bought my house. Liens, ignoring them. People have this misconception that you can't take away my house. You're absolutely right. Your homestead is protected, I'm pretty sure, in every single state. But what they can do is put a lien on your property. So at some point, you're going to die. And if you die, that lien is sitting there accumulating interest. So now your kids are going to get lesser of an inheritance, or you're going to sell the house. If you sell the house, guess what? You got to pay the first mortgage, if you have a second mortgage, whatever, and then you got to pay those liens. If you don't believe me, ask the guy that I bought my house from, who the day of the closing found out he had something like $16,000 in liens. He ignored everything: credit card lawsuits, utility liens. He wasn't paying an water bill, some property that he had. Even his dog's rabies shots was like $200-300. So the day of the closing, he's like, "We're not going forward to closing." I'm like, "Yes, we are, because I'm going to sue you for breach of contract. No one told you not to pay those liens." So the title company hustled, was able to get that done. They reduced it somewhat. Actually, they reduced it to $16,000. So you owed more, owed more than the 16 that I was talking about. But he expected to walk out with this certain amount of cash, and it got reduced in a hurry by $16,000. $16,000 hurts. If you don't think it's a lot of money, I'll give you my address so you can send me $16,000. And then, since it doesn't hurt, doesn't matter, but I'll be greatly appreciative of you doing that. But that is the steps that they can take. While they're not going to take away your house, they will get paid eventually. So let's say you now filed your answer. What's the next step? We got to go through what discovery is. What's discovery? What it sounds like. You're discovering facts that are important to the case, documents that are relevant to the case. They'll provide the original cardholder agreement. Let's say if it's a credit card, they'll any payments that were made. They might provide a ledger sheet. They might ask for you in return, which is typical, your pay stubs, where you're working, bank accounts, and things like that. Now, you probably should only get that far if you really have some sort of, um, you believe you're going to settle this case. If not, just file for bankruptcy. We don't have to worry about this stuff. But once you're done with that, you're going to go to mediation. Now, sometimes some courts, and I really saw this during COVID, was the second a case was filed, they immediately set it down for a pre-trial conference or mediation, where it was just I want to say a meet and greet and see if you can settle this case quickly. And a lot of cases do settle that way. Sometimes I will tell clients, go to a mediation to delay the case so we can file a bankruptcy, whatever, in a week, a month, or whatever. So sometimes we need to buy time. Now, you went through discovery, we got bank accounts, we got cardholder agreements, we got everything. What is left? We went to mediation, no go. You didn't like the offer they were making. The last step is trial. All right. So at trial, one or two things is going to happen. You're either going to win or you're going to lose. If you owe the money, you're going to lose every single time. So can you wipe out that judgment in bankruptcy? Yes, you can. Creditors like to lie and say you can't do that. What do they know? They're not the ones who went to law school. They're not the one who wrote a book on this stuff. Hold on, let me do a shameless plug here. They're not the ones who wrote a book on this stuff or have a blog. I'm telling you, you can't eliminate a judgment. So don't listen to them. So if it gets that far and things didn't work out and you have a judgment, once the judgment comes in, same thing. They're going to go after your wages. They're going to try to levy your bank accounts, and they're going to try to put liens on your personal property. It could be your car, it could be your house, etc. If that's the case, then you know the answer. You're going to have to file for bankruptcy, because if you don't, chances of them negotiating with you at that point, they could. But I always tell clients, they say, can we negotiate with them? Sure. What's your offer? If they're going to get 25% by law under garnishment, 24% isn't going to work. So unless you're coming back to them with 26%, don't waste your time or their time trying to negotiate. Let's file for bankruptcy or because pretty much the only solution at that time. All right. So now you know the process when there is a lawsuit. Most important thing you're going to do is you're not going to ignore that lawsuit. You're going to take action. I don't care if you file a response on your own. I don't care if you go through a self-help center. I don't care if you hire a lawyer. Just don't ignore it. You don't ignore problems. They only get worse. All right. So thank you for joining me on today's video. I hope you like it. If you like it, please subscribe. I got more videos that have been posted. I'm kind of speeding up here on the videos, and of course my blog is still pretty much almost daily. I'm publishing. I might be publishing later today an article on Kevin Spacey, the actor. So stick around for that. All right. So take care. It is Saturday. Enjoy yourselves. Stay out of the heat. Stay hydrated. And I'll see you at the next video. Bye bye.